Following the failure of the RE-2000 fighter plane, the engineers from Reggiane tried to design a new aircraft to fill the role of ground attack plane. This would lead to the development of the improved RE-2002. While the Regia Aeronautica, the Italian Air Force, ordered 500 units of this new version, due to problems with production, only about half of that number were ever built. Hello everyone, I'm Stan and welcome to the first ever Plane Encyclopedia voiced article. Now, Plane Encyclopedia has a far smaller team than do our brothers over at Tank Encyclopedia, but we hope to catch up to them. If you want to help us, there are two good ways of doing that. You can either consider donating on Patreon or PayPal, or if you're passionate enough about airplanes, consider joining us. We always need more people to join in and help with this project. If you want to join in, there's a Discord link in the description. With that said, back to the RE-2002. In the late 1930s, the Italian aircraft manufacturer Reggiane was attempting to gain attention from the Regia Aeronautica with its RE-2000. While this aircraft initially showed good flying performance, it was not adopted for service. For this reason, Reggiane's chief engineer, Roberto Longhi, set out to develop a new aircraft that would fulfill the role of a fighter bomber, which the Italian Air Force was in quite desperate need of. For this new aircraft, which would later be known as the RE-2002 Ariete, a large 1,175 horsepower Piaggio P19 RC45 engine was chosen, but this was still in the development phase at that time and not yet ready for service. The choice of using an engine still in the development phase would have a great negative impact on the later production of the aircraft. The maiden flight of the RE-2002 prototype, serial number MM454, took place in October of 1940. It was flown by test pilot Mario De Bernardi. After the first flight, the pilot noted that the RE-2002 had good general flying performance, but there were problems with the engine overheating. After several more test flights, constant engine overheating problems forced further flights to be halted, and the aircraft was returned to Reggiane for necessary engine modifications. After a number of upgrades to the engine were completed in March of 1941, the test flights continued. During these, the RE-2002 managed to achieve a top speed of 417 km per hour. The RE-2002 was a low-wing, all-metal construction, single-seat ground attack plane. The fuselage consisted of a metal frame covered with aluminum sheets held in place using flush riveting. The elliptical wings were built using a metal frame covered with a stressed skin derailment structure. One fuel tank was located in each wing, with an additional third one placed just behind the pilot. If needed, additional auxiliary fuel tanks could be added under the fuselage or the wings. When the landing gear retracted backward, the wheels rotated 90 degrees before going into the wheelbase. For better landing, the landing gear was provided with hydraulic shock absorbers and pneumatic brakes. The smaller rear wheel was initially retractable, but this was changed to a fixed type at the start of production. The initial canopy was unchanged from the RE-2000 and open to the rear. The production version, however, had a canopy taken from the RE-2001, which opened to the side. The RE-2002 possessed the same offensive capabilities as its RE-2001 cousin. This consisted of two Breda Safat 12.7mm heavy machine guns mounted in the engine cowling. The ammunition load for the left machine gun was 390 rounds with 450 for the right one. Two additional 7.7mm Breda Safat machine guns were placed in each wing. The ammunition load for the right machine gun was 350 rounds and 290 rounds for the left one. Being designed to act as a ground attack plane, the RE-2002 was equipped with one bomb rack placed under the fuselage and an additional rack placed under each wing. The central bomb rack could carry up to 650 kilograms, while the smaller wing racks could each carry 160 kilograms of payload. Following the completion of test flights, the Italian Air Ministry gave an order for 200 Re-2002s to be produced. The first production aircraft were completed in October of 1941. Due to engine production difficulties, the distribution of new aircraft to frontline units was only possible in late 1942. While the initial order of 200 was increased by a further 300, only 48 to 147 planes were built for the Italian Air Force by September of 1943. With only a small number of aircraft ever built, there were only a few known modifications and proposals for the Re-2002. One was an experimental version created by combining the Re-2002's fuselage with the Re-2005's wings. This aircraft was known as the Re-2002 bis, but was never truly completed. The second version was to be used on two Italian aircraft carriers, the Aquila and the Sparviero. While catapult launch tests were conducted on at least one Re-2002, due to the cancellation of the Italian aircraft carriers, construction of this version was never pursued. One Re-2002 was also tested in the Re-2003 two-seater reconnaissance aircraft configuration. As the Re-2003 was not adopted for service, only one prototype was built. The last proposal included a torpedo carrier version, but this was also never implemented. After the introduction of the Re-2002 into service, some additional changes were made in comparison to the prototype. These included improvements to the engine cowling, but this actually caused some issues during dive bombing runs, as the engine would sometimes simply stall. From the 17th aircraft onward, a new lower engine mount was tested with a different cowling type. Delivery of the first operational Re-2002s for military use was only possible in November of 1942. The Re-2002s were allocated to the 112th Group with its 209th and 239th Squadrons stationed at Lonate Pozzolo. This unit had experience operating ground attack aircraft, previously operating German-supplied Ju-87 dive bombers. The next month, the 101st Group, with its 208th and 238th Squadrons, also began to receive their first Re-2002s to replace their outdated Fiat CR-42 biplanes. During the Allied invasion of Sicily in July of 1943, the Italian Air Force stationed there had only 165 operational aircraft. The two groups, equipped with some 32 Re-2002s in total, were also present as part of the 5th Stormo. The first combat action was on the day of the invasion on the 10th of July, when Re-2002s managed to sink an Allied transport vessel called Talamba. 4 aircraft and the commander of the 5th Stormo were lost during this action. The next day, a group of 11 Re-2002s began a new attack on the Allied ships stationed near Augusta, Syracuse. The British battleship HMS Nelson was damaged, with the mission resulting in the loss of 2 Re-2002s. In retaliation, the Allies bombed the Re-2002 airfields a few hours later. Due to losses, the surviving Re-2002s were repositioned to Manduria. After receiving reinforcements, they attempted another attack on July 19th, but lost 6 aircraft in the process. On the 20th and 26th of July, the transport ships Pelly and Fishpool was sunk. In early September of 1943, Allied forces landed in southern Italy. The Italian command, in despair, dispatched a small group of aircraft supported by 15 Re-2002s in an attempt to drive them back. On the 9th of September 1943, due to immense Allied pressure and rising military losses, the Italians surrendered. By this time, the 101st and 102nd groups had only 24 Re-2002s, but only half were combat ready. During the 2 months of fighting, some 32 aircraft were lost. While 19 were lost in direct combat, the remaining were destroyed in Allied bombing actions or accidents. Following the Italian capitulation, Germany launched Operation Achse, with the aim of capturing a large portion of the territory of their former ally. This included a number of production facilities such as the Reggiane factories. The Germans seized some 14 fully completed aircraft and around 10 more which were under construction. As there was sufficient material available, the production of the Re.2002 continued for some time under German supervision. Some 60 aircraft were produced by Caproni under German supervision, but due to the Allied advance in April 1945, only around 25 was seized by the Germans, while the remaining airframes were destroyed. Unfortunately, the exact use of these aircraft by the Germans is not well documented. Smaller groups of around 40 Re.2002s that were previously used by the 5th Stormo were operated by the new Italian co-belligerent army in cooperation with the Allies. In 1943, they saw action in supporting the Italian resistance movement in northern Italy, an area which was controlled by the Germans. In 1944, they were also employed in attack operations across the Adriatic Sea towards the Yugoslavian coastline. One of the last combat missions of the Re.2002 was a bombing run against Axis targets in Dubrovnik on 29 March 1944. Today, there are only 2 Re.2002 aircraft. One was located at the Italian Air Force Museum but is temporarily loaned to a museum in Milan. The second incomplete Re.2002 can be seen at the French Musée de la Résistance et de la Déportation de Limoges. While the Re.2002 proved to be able to fulfill the role of fighter bomber that the Italians were lacking, due to a number of factors, the production was never successfully completed. While work on the Re.2002 began in 1940, the production could not start before late 1942. While work on the Re.2002 began in 1940, it could not enter service before late 1942. By that time, only a small number of aircraft were ever delivered to the Italian force. Its first action against the Allies in Sicily ironically proved to be among their last under the fascist regime. While some would be used up to the war's end, due to a lack of spare parts, most would be used as training aircraft until finally being discarded. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching the first ever Plain Encyclopedia voiced article. If you like this, please subscribe and hit that bell button. Likes and comments are also highly appreciated. You can also find us on Facebook or on Discord. There are links in the channel description. You can, of course, support us by Patreon or PayPal if you're so inclined, or if you're really passionate about aircraft, join us. This was it. Until next time, keep us in your sights.